An alternative scenario to think of besides coinsurance is to think about how deductibles are working. Now, the way a deductible works is you pay 100% until it's satisfied, and then after that, the insurance kicks in. In order to separate it from coinsurance, let's just think about the story that you're going to pay 100% until you satisfy the deductible, and then after that, we'll assume they pay 100%. You can do both, but this makes their effects more clear when they're separated. So after that, assume the insurer pays all. Okay, so let's look at a little demand curve to think about how this would work. So here's price and quantity, and let's just put in some random price. And now let's think about at this price, let's say I would choose this many visits. So this is everything that I pay. We'll call that A. A is my payment at price P1 with no insurance. Just to think numerically about this a little bit, let's say this was $50 and this was 10 visits, then that would be worth $500 that I have to spend before insurance is going to start. Or excuse me, when I have, right here, when I have no insurance. But now let's suppose that we make the deductible be $500. So I'm gonna, if I get to my $500 worth of spending, then after that point the insurance company is going to cover everything. Well, you notice what would happen then. So to me it would feel like I pay $50 and I want to go 10 times anyway, because that's what I did when I had no insurance. But then suddenly, if this is my deductible and they pay everything, then suddenly it's like it's free and I don't have to pay a cent. And so I would, in theory, or if there's no time costs or administrative costs to me, I would consume, let's say, all the way out to that point. So if 500 was the deductible, I will consume 20 visits because they became free after the 10 visits. Now let's think about how that feels to the insurance company. Now, I'm doing this example without any probability of needing the care. We're just assuming I'm using the care. So that's important to keep straight. So to the insurance company, they're going to have to pay, they pay the amount of B and C. Because I still paid A. I paid the whole deductible before they started paying anything. And let's think about that. To me, as the person whose demand this is representing, the area of B was worth it to me. I'm getting value out of it, and it's contributing to my welfare. But area C is paid by the insurance company, and because it's outside my demand curve, it's representing an amount above and beyond what I would have been willing to pay for a $50 treatment. So we can see what the deductible did in this case is if for some reason these visits between 0 and 10 had some uncertainty to them, or if I had a different shape of a demand curve, the deductible might get me to not have those first few visits. But once I know I've met it, it's not limiting my consumption at all. That's why with a deductible, there's often also coinsurance after the deductible so that it can try to limit me from going all the way out to the 20 visits. Like the last video, we had coinsurance that brought the, let's say the coinsurance brought the price to right here, while they would consume a bit less to here. It would reduce the expenditure to the insurance company to about there, and so on. So if you combine the coinsurance after the deductible, it will get the patient to pay area A with the deductible, area D with the deductible and coinsurance, and the insurance company will have a smaller amount that they have to pay. I've messed up my areas now. I'll rename it. The insurance company would now pay areas B and C, which are smaller because I'm not consuming as much, and it's smaller because with the coinsurance I'm paying a bit more.